Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you students? Hope you all are fine and doing well at home. I am your science teacher taking the classes of semester 1 and today's topic is adaptation in animals and plants. Students, what do you mean by adaptation in animals and plants? It is in order to survive, plants and animals need to be fit to be able to adapt themselves to their surroundings. Plants and animals are everywhere. They are in the land as well as water. Now let us discuss about the features of adaptation of animals and plants. First is they have defensive mechanism. Defensive mechanism in the sense they defend themselves from their enemies, and according to that they are adapted to certain surroundings. Like
hedgehog have bristles
in order to defend itself from the enemies, and animals like deer, buffalo, they have horns, and chameleon, it changes its color when it sees anything or any enemy in front of it, or when it is in danger it changes its color. The changing of its color is called camouflage. The changing of its color is called camouflage. Now students, let us discuss about desert animal. Desert animal are those animals which live in desert. How do desert animals find water? It is they eat the plants which is available in desert, or dew drops which is fallen upon the leaves of desert plants. They eat it and fill themselves with water. And some animals like lizards, snakes, they burrow themselves into sand so that they protect themselves from cold and hot weather. The common animal of desert is camel. Camel is a common animal of desert. It has stomach-like pouches in which it stores 70 liters of water. Did you ever know? A camel has a stomach-like pouches in which it can store 70 liters of water, and it has got a hump in which it stores fat which can be converted into energy when there is a scarcity of food. Next, desert plant. Desert plants are those plants which live in desert. They have very long roots. Long roots in order to search the water. They go beneath the bottom in search of water. So they have very long roots, and they have very thick flesh stems. In the stem they store the extra food which is required when there is no water or they don't find food for themselves in future. And preparing food. In all other plants you have seen that leaves prepare food for the plant, but in desert plants prepare food by stem. As I told, the stem is filled with thick flesh. It means it prepares food for itself through stem. Next is plants in cold region. You might be familiar with this plant. This is called Coniferous Plant. The plant which is evergreen is called Coniferous Plant. You might have seen this as people use it as Xmas tree. These are found in cold regions. They are cone shapes. Students, have you ever wondered why it is cone shaped? It is not because of style. It has got its own feature. It is because when the snow falls on it, when the snow falls, the cone shape, because of the cone shape, the snow will go away. It will slip away. It won't stay here. So, it is cone shaped. Now, animals in cold region. Animals in cold region are those animals which live in cold area. They have very thick fur. Why do they have very thick fur? They have thick fur in order to protect themselves from cold. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them very thick fur. And beneath the skin, they have very unique skin. Beneath the skin, they store fat. And fat will be converted into energy when there is scarcity of food. And long hairs. You might be very familiar with yak. Yak is an animal which has got very long hair and a bee structure on it. It is because it adapts itself to the surrounding cold region, and in order to protect itself from cold, it has got very long hairs. But animals like cow, buffalo, they cannot survive in cold region because they do not have long hair. Next, some trees are umbrella shaped trees. Have you ever seen such a tree anywhere? Most probably we find this tree in sometimes in, imagine yourself, where do we find this? Have you ever seen near auto stand? Yes, where do we find this? Like this kind of trees, they are shaped in umbrella to avoid wind. To avoid wind, they are shaped like this. But most probably we find this in, you have seen auto stand, there we find this. Not in all the auto stand, but most of the auto stand, they have this tree. It is because to avoid the wind. They are usually found in mountains or a windy region. And next is flowers. Flowers are of many colors and of different shapes, but there are two types of flowers. One flower which blooms in day and one flower which blooms at night. Okay, the flower which blooms at day is very bright in color. Why it is bright in color? So that it can attract butterflies and insects. And the flowers which blooms at night is white in color. Why is it white in color? So that it will be very dark. When it is very dark, white color attracts black. So during night it is very dark, so the flower blooms in white color, and it is very strong scented. It has very strong scent because to attract moths and insects which are at night. So students, I told you desert animal lives in desert and animals in cold region, they live in cold places. What if we exchange penguin to desert and will send camel to cold region? What happens? Have you ever imagined what will happen if we send camel to cold region and penguin to desert region? Do ponder over this and we will discuss about it. So what did we study today? We studied the features of animals and plants according to their adaptation, and studied about desert animals which live in desert, desert plant which live in desert. Plants in cold region, animals in cold region, and umbrella shaped trees and flowers. Students, as we have already learned about the adaptation of plants and animals in desert areas and in the cold region. Now we will discuss about aquatic plants, aquatic animals and aerial creatures. Aquatic plants are those plants which live in water. Plants like water lily, lotus, duckweed and water hyacinth, they float on water. Let me explain you about some of the features of aquatic plants. Roots. The roots of water lily and lotus, they are attached to the bottom and the leaves and the flower floats. But the roots of the duckweed, they float along with the plant. Like leaves and roots, they float along. It is because when the water flows, it will be easy for them to flow along with them. When a river flows, it flows along with them. But water lily and lotus, their stem is connected or it is attached to the bottom. It doesn't float along with the river. And stomata. As we all have studied that stomata present in leaves are inside the leaves, but in aquatic plants the stomata in the leaves are present outside of the leaves. Do you know why? Let us discuss about it later. And the leaves. The leaves of the aquatic plants have waxy surface on it, waxy surface upon it, so that when the water droplets fall on it, it flows. Have you ever observed that the leaves of aquatic plant, when the water falls on it, it floats, it goes, it slips away. Next is aquatic animals. All those animals which live or which can survive in water is called aquatic animals. Animals like fish, they are boat shaped. It helps them to easily swim in water. And animals like duck and frog, they have webbed feet. Here in the diagram you can see that they are having webbed feet. This helps them to swim in water, because duck and frog, they can live both in land as well as water. The webbed feet helps them to swim in water. And the frog has moist skin. Frog breathes through its skin when it is in water. So it has got moist skin. And the creatures like crane, it has got long legs. Long legs. It helps it to walk on marshy areas. And penguin has flippers. The flippers help the penguin to easily swim in water. Now, aerial creatures. Aerial creatures are those creatures which fly on air. Aerial creatures like birds. We'll discuss the features of birds. Birds have got hollow bones. Hollow in the sense, our bones, it has got weight, but the bones of a bird, it is hollow. Have you seen a straw? Yes, it is kind of straw, hollow inside, because when it has got less weight, it can easily fly. And it has got a very strong wing. Strong wing for those birds which are migrant birds. Some are migrant birds, like they fly from one country to another. They cross thousands of kilometers. So they have very strong wing, and they have got, some birds have got very sharp eyesight. An eagle or a kite which is flying above the sky can see a small mouse which is walking on the ground, because it has got very sharp eye. Have you ever observed that eagle comes and it holds its prey and flies away, because it has got very sharp eyesight. So students, what did we study today? Aquatic plants which live in water, and aquatic animals which live in water. And some animals like duck, frog, they can live in land as well as water. And aerial creatures, those animals which can fly or which fly on air. So students, as I told that stomata is present inside the leaves, and the stomata of aquatic plant is outside the leaf. Can you imagine why is it so? Do try to find the answer and let us have discussion about it in future. Thank you. Jazakumullahu khaira.